a good afternoon to most of you. It's still morning here, and this is day 19, I believe, of our Alaska adventure. And what you are looking at is a picture of Denali and the clouds where Denali is at. It is actually, you can kind of see the low point there in the mountain, and it is like right dead center of your screen behind those clouds. If you missed it, 3 days ago, I was up here and we actually camped where I'm at now. And I watched the midnight sunset behind the mountain. And then the morning after, I got pictures of the morning sun gleaming off of it. So I actually have a picture that's as clear as this picture here that is to identify where the mountain is. Can y'all hear me? Because I'm not getting any comments at all. Yep, beautiful. Okay, so I'm assuming you could hear me because people aren't saying no sound. I can't see who it's from. It's very bright out here. But the mountain, Denali, McKinley, it's literally dead center of your screen. You can see the snow coming down the side of the mountain over here beside where it is. I am told that 80% of the time, this is what it looks like. You can't actually see the mountain. And we've been here for 4 days now, the day that we got here. And I know a lot of people are planning summer trips up here. So I want to tell you a little bit about how to see the mountain. We got here Thursday, fairly early in the day, about lunchtime. And I went straight to the national park and I rented us a campsite for 4 days. Because you think Denali National Park, that's where you want to see or be to see Mount Denali. And that's not quite right. The national park, you definitely want to go to it, but that's not where you want to plan on spending most of your time. The state park has where I'm at now, which is the south overlook, and you can camp here. And then they have a north viewpoint, and you can camp there, and you can actually see the mountain from your campsite. So if you're camped there on those rare occasions when the clouds blow away from the summit, you are able to see it. Watching from Maryland. That's the Northeast is definitely on a trip, and I did hit the edge of Maryland on a trip recently. But anyway, if you're coming here this summer to visit, plan on staying at the state park. There's also, if you're camping, there's also a lot of private cabins and stuff. And I know a lot of people take cruises, and then they either take the tour bus up high in Indiana. I can see the comments. I can't see the names. It looks like a Susan maybe high. But if you're driving, if you're flying into Anchorage or Fairbanks and you're renting an RV or driving up all the way like we did, I think now we're at about 5,700 miles. Plan on staying in the state parks, either north or south viewing points, because you can see it high in Texas. I've never been to Texas yet, and I haven't been to Oregon yet either. Saw that too. There are no showers in the state parks. There are only pit toilets. But if you want to get a shower, they have showers at the very first campground in the national park. It's $5 for a 10-minute shower. So you can stop there at the campground and or the camp store and pay $5 and get a shower. You don't have to be camped there to use the shower. It's about 100 miles from the south the south viewpoint where I'm at now. The park road that goes into the national park high in New York, I have not been in New York either. I'm going to go there too soon. But there's a landslide on the park road. It goes 96 miles into the park. You can only get, I want to say it was 37 or 38 miles. High in California, haven't been to California. And you can't take your car past like mile 12 or so. It's Savage Creek is the farthest point you can take your car. You can take a tour bus that costs a few bucks. I want to say it was like $35 to take the tour bus, which is a Bluebird school bus up a gravel road about 38 or 39 miles into the park. And that's the farthest you can get into the park. And you don't have to camp in the park to do that either. You can camp here where you can wait for the clouds to blow away from the summit so you can see the summit. And in our week 3 diary video, when Alex gets those, I've been to Florida, and my dad is from Florida. He misses the warmth. Definitely been to North Carolina. So if you're driving up here, plan on staying in the state park, Denali State Park. That's where you can see the mountain from the most. You can see it from the park road. If you just want to drive out the park road as far as you can, between mile 9 and mile 10, you can see the other side of it from the park road. Are we getting a little summit in there? Maybe. I think we are. If you look in the clouds, you can see the summit. It's way up there in the clouds. And it looks kind of like a really white cloud, but there it is. And I was actually off a little bit. It's not in that saddle. It's up above those snow-covered peaks that you can see in the foreground. If you watch the live I did from up here, though, the night that we got here, and all of these videos are now in a playlist. It's the Alaska Adventure playlist. I lived in Alabama when I was expecting my first daughter. I saw an Alabama pop up there. The northern tip of Israel. Oh, I want to go to Israel so bad. Hello, Israel. And there is Mount McKinley, Mount Denali. You can see the very peak of it over there. It's hard to tell where it is when it's completely covered by clouds, but it's coming out to say goodbye. We're headed south today, and I am going to do, when I get back, I'm going to divide some of these videos up and kind of do a video on how to see this national park and how to see this mountain and, you know, things that you need to know before you come here. I'm from Alaska. Where are you at in Alaska? See a good afternoon. Can't see who it is. And I'm also going to do one on what to expect when you're crossing the Canadian border, because I've done that a few times and there are things you need to know. Louisiana, it's been a while since I've been to Louisiana. Seattle. I want to go to Seattle. I saw where you were at in Alaska, but it jumped so quick because there's so many comments coming in. I lived in Atlanta when I met Brett. Hi, Atlanta. Yesterday, we are having fun. I can't see the names. Thank you very much. We just, Wasilla. Okay, we're headed toward Wasilla now, I think. We're going to go down through Anchorage. I'm not sure how far we'll get tonight. And down into the peninsula. And then we're going to go back up and go toward Valdez and do the boat, the glacier boat tour that has the national park tour guides on it. I definitely want to see that before I leave. If you drive up here, it is a very, very long drive. And I think somebody said it's probably cheaper than taking a cruise unless you get a really good deal and then rent a car. But it takes a lot of time, and not everybody has that kind of time. Oh, Denali's going back behind the cloud there. But if you don't have time to drive and you rent a car and you have limited time, you really need to know how to see this. Anyway, we're going to do the boats over in the bay so we can see the glaciers going in the bay and hopefully see some whales. I have seen 3 grizzly bears so far, so many black bears, I lost count. In the park, we saw moose, caribou, whatever, the longhorn sheep up on the mountain. Oh gosh, a porcupine that was as big as the black bears are at home. Lots of birds. The little squirrels that run around in the park are really, really pretty. But we rented the park for 4 days and we only stayed there, high Central Florida, for a couple of days. I think we camped there 2 nights. We wanted to wash laundry, get showers, of course, because showers are not an everyday thing here. Have you seen the glaciers? We've seen a lot of glaciers coming down the road, and the blue pools, yes, the glacier lakes are just gorgeous, and we have seen several of those. And there are places where, like, you can see the glacier on this coming down this mountain over here, and you can see that those coming down to the road, especially when we drove out to Hyder. We saw a lot of that on the road out to Hyder. And on the road out to Skagway, too, there was a lot of that. We drove through an ice field going out to Skagway. That was just absolutely gorgeous. But I really want to see the glaciers falling into the bay, and I'd love to see some whales. There are things that you could do up here that are not terribly expensive. Hey, Jim in East Tennessee. I saw that one pop up there. But the most expensive thing we've done so far is the train ride.
White Pass and Yukon Route.
Yeah, the White Pass Yukon Railroad. I was reading a comment. That's why I paused. My dad's out here today. He made it out of the box. That's what I've started calling the van is the box. It's almost 60 degrees and not much wind, so he was able to stick his head out. Where was that? Anyway, there's a lot of things you can do if you drive that cost a little bit, but if you're stopping for the day and you're not spending, I think from Kentucky, if you're not spending a lot of money traveling, because most of our campsites have been free or very cheap. We had a few that were $50 a night, but most of them have either been $20 or free. And even in the national park, he has a park pass, and I think the 4 days was $50 when we only stayed there, like I said, for 2. So I would definitely recommend camping in the state park. Just visit the national park because the road is closed. Like I said, you can only get like 38 miles out it even on the tour bus. And if you don't want to do the tour bus, the basic tour was $35. You can only get like 12 miles, and there's no need to stay there for 4 days. It doesn't take you long to see 12 miles. The sled dogs, we went and watched those yesterday, and we had a campfire and just hung out from Pennsylvania. I'm headed down to the peninsula in Alaska, down past Anchorage, and going to see the bay, and then going to go over toward Valdez. I'll get it right in a minute. And even if I don't, it's all right. But there's not, unless you just want to go camping and sit by a campfire, like 4 days in the park, there just was nothing to do except sit in the box, and that was too much. But we did roast some hot dogs for lunch yesterday, and we went and watched the sled dogs. I definitely recommend watching the sled dogs. That was really cool. They're beautiful dogs, and they love what they do. Valdez, yeah, okay. That's where I think that's where we're gonna take the boat ride out into the bay there. It is a little chilly though, and I've had my dad out here for all this time. Let me see if I can turn this around. Nope, it's not gonna turn around. Well, I was gonna turn around and say hi to y'all, but my camera won't flip. I don't know what's wrong with it. Oh, here we go. Oops. Well, if I hold it, maybe. It's like taking a picture. Oh, well. Nope, it's not going to turn around. Hey, Dad. Somebody says hey to you.
Hey yourself.
Uh,
Am I in that picture?
no, maybe if I flip it or snap it, it's like doing a split second. I'm sorry. I don't know why this. I don't know if I'm ever going to figure out this technology, and I don't know why y'all watch. I stay so confused most of the time. But I do appreciate you watching it. And if you've missed videos, like I said, they're all in a playlist now. It's the Alaska Adventure playlist. If you go to the home page and you scroll through the tabs on the home page, you'll see videos and playlists and all that stuff, and you can find everything in there. And we are still putting up cooking videos, so don't miss those. We are having fun. We're having fun, and it has been there are those times. We're in a 17-foot van, and we're mostly spending our time in the van because it is kind of chilly. And if you're planning a road trip up here, I would definitely recommend waiting until the tourist season, because right now it's construction season and the roads are all to pieces. All the pieces.
So this over here is the next,
Um,
the next highest one?
So the roads are very, very rough, and just two people in a 17-foot van, there are some struggles for sure. And the weather has been a struggle. The last several days, though, that popcorn's really good. You got to try it. I couldn't believe it when I did it.
So it would be
Construction's I'm sure it is all season long, but right now, the roads are just horrible.
yeah. Excuse me.
Everybody's trying to see the
Would you mind
picture you're
moving
standing
that
in.
from
sorry.
the map, please?
I'm sorry. Well, I am blocking other people's views here. And like I said, we've been out here in the cold for a while. We're going to head on down toward Anchorage. I do appreciate you following us. Please don't camp in Anchorage. We're not planning on it. I looked at
Is this right here?
I've looked at a campsite north of Anchorage and one south of Anchorage. And we will get week 2 up for you as soon as I can get all the stuff to Alex.
That's what I'm saying, to give a, kind of a.
And I hope you are all having a very blessed Sunday. I am going to say goodbye for now. God bless you. And until next time, remember to put God first.